everyone. My name is Ranjit Singh. I'm a senior researcher with the AI on the Ground team at Data and Society, where I research the impact of algorithmic systems. At Data and Society, we do sociotechnical research. In this brief talk, I will introduce you to how to think like a sociotechnical researcher and why that matters. In its most basic terms, sociotechnical research argues that problems of technology are problems of society. I approach sociotechnical research with four core basic assumptions. First, there is no such thing as a purely technical system. Second, every technical system is designed with a particular perspective and a vision to transform society. But this transformation does not happen equally for everyone. So paying attention to the differences in people's experiences with technical systems and where they lead is crucial for socio-technical research. Third, every technical system represents a set of choices. Choices that we make when we build these systems, and choices that we make when we live with these systems. Socio-technical research is focused on the nature of these choices, why we make them, and at whose expense. And finally, fourth, the relationship between technology and society is a two-way street. They mutually shape each other. So to see how these assumptions work together, let's take an example. Let's talk about the basic building blocks of large language models, transformers. Technically, transformers encode vast amounts of data into layers of internal representations, and then decode these representations to produce a meaningful response to any prompt. The novelty and success of transformers lies in their ability to direct attention. During the encoding process, attention helps in figuring out the relationship between these internal representations. And during the decoding process, attention helps in identifying what is important in coming up with a meaningful response. The title of the famous paper that actually calls out this ability is simply, "Attention is all you need." But in the process of identifying what it should be paying attention to, a transformer is essentially trying to answer, what will we, as people, pay attention to? Now that is a social and cultural question. What we pay attention to is a matter of our perspective. And we can see this happen in the most ordinary of ways. So for example, the title of the paper, "Attention is all you need," is inspired from a Beatles song, "All you need is love." And as they put it, there's nothing you can see that isn't shown. On the one hand, we are quite literally training large language models to answer questions to our liking through reinforcement learning from human feedback. This process is unequal in its very design. It prioritizes certain perspectives at the expense of others. On the other hand, we are also paying close attention to what transformers pay attention to in the hopes of learning new things from data. So in understanding how attention works, we can see all the core assumptions of doing socio-technical research play themselves out. But there are also challenges in doing socio-technical research, especially in studying the impact of large language models. AI enthusiasts imagine that large language models will disrupt every profession, ranging from medicine and law to coding and journalism. This stems from their belief that a reasonable amount of economically valuable work and professional expertise in the knowledge economy is simply a matter of processing language and managing conversations with clients. From this perspective, a language model should be able to do most of this work if it can just pay attention to what practitioners pay attention to. For example, talking to a patient about their symptoms to come up with a diagnosis. So on the other hand, if you think about it from a practitioner's perspective, what is crucial is that a model's outputs are consistent with their standards of professional care. This is not a trivial problem of AI adoption. It underlies a core tension between the practitioner's expertise and a model's capabilities. How much time should a practitioner put into training a model to do the work that they normally do? At what scale of AI adoption does all of this time become an appropriate return on their investment of efforts? Is it reasonable for us to imagine that in the future, people will first talk to a chatbot before talking to a human practitioner? Each profession will have to work out their answers to these questions. They'll have to manage the scale at which models can align with their practice, and then consider who gets left behind in this transformation. thinking like a sociotechnical researcher requires us to grapple with these choices. It requires us to cut through the arguments of inevitability of AI. And in the moments when we start paying attention to how we make choices about AI, we are all thinking like sociotechnical researchers. We can ask, what does the given application of AI mean for us as individuals? What does it mean for the communities that we identify with? What does it mean for the work we do? For our professions? For our culture? For our places? For our countries? For the world we inhabit? And for all the other species that we share this planet with? These questions invite us to imagine and live in a society where AI is not a given, but a series of active choices. After all, we are products of the choices we make. Thank you.